Hey guys, this is John, and welcome back to another episode of the Meatgistics podcast. It has been a couple of weeks since we released one, got caught up in the holiday schedule. Things have been crazy busy here, and Austin and I just couldn't find the time to sit down. Plus, we were off for a couple Fridays in a row. So we are back. This is going to be a quicker than usual episode, as you can see, or soon will hear. I am solo today. I have Billy no mates. I've got nobody else up here. But before we get to what we're going to talk about today, the most important part of the day, and that is beer of the day. Now, today we've got something super simple, but really good, something I enjoy a lot. It's a Modelo Chelada, which is lime and salt. And man, if you are just looking for a beer to quench your thirst, a beer that would be amazing sitting out by the pool or mowing your lawn, this is it. That is a seriously good, easy drinking beer. Only downside to it is I'm pretty sure the alcohol content is pretty low, probably in the 4-something range. And we generally like them a little bit higher than that, but still, incredibly tasty beer. For you who say don't fruit your beer or whatever, shut up. Go away. This is delicious. I love it. So our main topic today is we have finally done it. We've been trying for weeks here to improve upon our tender jerky recipe. We had numerous mistakes, not paying enough attention to the smoke schedule. At one point, I had to go drop off a COVID test for an employee. The person who I asked to watch it got caught up in one of the millions of other things he does here every day, and it just snuck by us. When we tested that batch, it was 0.43 water activity. For reference, 0.84 is shelf stable. As long as it's vacuum packed, it can sit out at room temperature. We were about twice as dry as we needed to be, and that jerky was still good. So we went back to the drawing board on these. We liked what we were getting from our tender jerky, but it could be more tender. I mean, it was better than your regular jerky. It was, not as hard to bite through, not as hard to chew, but it did have a tendency to get brittle. And that's really what we were trying to avoid with this recipe. So what we've done might not work with every single seasoning. The flavor might not be there, but with Walton's Bold, this works really, really well. And we're going to do a full episode as a Meatgistics University with step-by-step guide on how to do this. Not only that, but step-by-step guide on how you can do it at home. There are a couple of things that you're basically going to need to be able to get close to the quality of what we've created here. And one of those is a vacuum tumbler. It makes an enormous difference when we're doing jerky. Reasoning behind that is a vacuum tumbler does two things. As it spins, it brings the meat up to the top of the chamber and then drops it, and it crashes onto the bottom. Well, that crash onto the bottom is impact energy, and that's going to help start tenderizing and loosening up the fibers of the muscle. The other thing it does is it's under a vacuum. So it's easier for those fibers to pull apart. The easier it is for those fibers to pull apart, the quicker and deeper, whatever you're trying to get into that, whether it be a jerky seasoning, a bacon cure, a ham cure, anything like that, it is going to penetrate much quicker. So quick, in fact, that with jerky, you can go directly from vacuum tumbling to smoking. However, we don't recommend you do that. What we did with this is we took just the regular amount of Walton's Bold seasoning that we would normally use. We added the regular amount of cure. Then we added all the extra brown sugar, which is 18% of your product's weight. So if you're making 10 pounds of jerky, that is 1.8 pounds of brown sugar. And trust me, it's going to look gross when you start mixing this up, but it is so worth it. So you mix that up. Then, instead of water, add 20% of the product's weight in low sodium soy sauce. Has to be low sodium. You do not want to do this with full strength soy sauce. It's going to give such a salty product, you won't be able to eat it. So We also add the regular amount of brown sugar that we do for these. So that's pretty hefty. It's 18% brown sugar. So if you're doing a 10-pound batch, that is 1.8 pounds of brown sugar. And when you do that, you will definitely throw up in your mouth a little bit, seeing how much brown sugar it is, but it's so worth it. Then you're going to add 18% of low sodium soy sauce. Do not do the full strength sodium. You need to use low sodium. If you use regular strength, it very well could be too salty to eat. So use the low sodium, mix those two things together, and then you're going to add 1.25% of the product's weight in rice wine vinegar and 0.78% in lemon juice concentrate. So why did we add this? Why do we replace our water with soy sauce, lemon juice concentrate, and rice wine vinegar? Because those products are going to continue to tenderize our meat. While they're just sitting in there, while it's vacuum tumbling, all of that, they're going to just work on that meat the entire time. And then when we're done vacuum tumbling it, we're not going right to the smoker. We're going to take that entire canister while it's still under vacuum, and we hold it for at least 12 hours. Now, we've done everywhere from 12 hours to 4 days. There doesn't seem to be much of a difference in those two times. As soon as you get to 12 hours, you've gotten the vast majority of the benefit from it. So I would just stop at 12 hours. Then we went ahead and we put it in our smokehouse. We did a bunch of testing on this. This is where we kind of failed a few times, but we did eventually come up with something that we're very happy with. And we think not only you can use at home, but we think we can change this enough that when we're dealing with people with like a PK100 or a pellet grill, that we can figure it out so that you guys will be able to do this at home as well. So stage 1 is going to be a drying stage. And we're going to do that for 20 minutes. And you're going to have your dampers wide open. You're going to add no smoke and no humidity through this time. If you have the ability to run a fan inside your smoker, do that. Next, we're going to that's at 100. That first stage is at 110 degrees. Then we're going to go to a quick smoking phase. It's just going to be 5 minutes and it's 135 degrees. Again, we're not adding humidity at that point. We're only doing it for 5 minutes because we're just trying to step the meat up in temperature. We're not trying to shock it too bad. Then we're doing a 25-minute phase. That's, again, a natural smoke phase at 140 degrees. Again, no type of humidity there, just smoke. And if you have the ability to keep a fan running in there or have your dampers mostly open, do that. Then we're going to go to a 10-minute cook cycle at 150 degrees. At this point, we're going to add relative humidity. If you can control that, set your relative humidity to 50%. Then you're going to do another 10 minutes at 155. And again, your relative humidity, you want it to be at 50%. Now, most of you guys at home don't have the option of controlling your humidity. So you just want to add it. We've done a bunch of different things here. Automotive sponges and a large water pan works really well. Even better than that is if you go to Walmart, they have these towels that say Aqua Dry. They're for athletes. If you're running or something, you wet it and put it over your neck and it keeps you really dry. That's because that's designed to wick moisture away and evaporate really easily, which is perfect for our purposes. We want something that's going to help the water evaporate, get up in the air. That's what the humidity is. So what you do is you put your oversized water pan down on your drip tray, and then you put that towel so it's draped over. You want the bottom pressed into the water so it's touching the water and can pull it, but you want it draped up and over. This is going to maximize the surface area for the evaporation to take place. So at home, that's probably the best way to do it. So we're going to the 10 minutes at 150, then the 10 minutes at 155. Then we're going to cook it until, and this is kind of the key here, we're going to cook it till it's 150 degrees, and we want to make sure that it's been there. We're going to be safe here. We want to make sure it's been there for 5 minutes. Appendix A from the USDA, Food and Safety, lists time and temperature for what's called lethality. Lethality is the point at which anything that we're concerned about, any microbes, anything like that, is going to die. 160 degrees on beef is that point of instant lethality. It means as soon as you hit that, everything that we're concerned about in that meat is dead. But there are time and temperature holds that you can do, like 150 degrees for, it's less than 5 minutes, but for 5 minutes, also very good. Here's the rub. It's a little bit more difficult to ensure that this is what you're doing at home. When we tell you to temp jerky, what we tell you to do is put your probe thermometer on a piece of jerky and then fold that over that probe. That's going to give you basically what the internal temperature of the meat is. Now, if you were doing jerky thick enough, you could slide that probe into the middle of the meat, but with how thin we have you cutting this jerky, there's no way you can get a probe in there. So folding it over is the best way to do it. But you have to make sure that not just that piece of jerky you tested, but that all of your jerky is at 150 degrees for at least 5 minutes. If you're comfortable with that, go ahead. Definitely try this out. After that 5-minute hold, you want to run a 5-minute drying phase, which would be remove humidity, remove smoke, open your dampers all the way, and just let it dry. That will take care of some of the pooling on your jerky. You may want to, after that initial we've hit that 150 for 5 minutes, you may want to open your smoker, turn pieces over that have a pool on them, let them drain off, because that is going to give you a sticky, tacky film on the top of your jerky. There's nothing wrong with it. It could just be unpleasant, specifically when packaging it. So flipping those pieces over right near the end will help mitigate that. Then we're going to do that 5-minute drying phase, then let it sit out at room temperature before packaging it for at least an hour. Let the temperature equalize with the room. That way, when you go to vacuum pack it, you're not going to have humidity inside the bag, which will create moisture. But it's not that big a deal with this, because we were at 0.72, I think, with this jerky. And that's incredible. I mean, for as tender as this jerky is, you guys are not, who are listening to this, can't see what I'm doing right now, but I mean, I'm basically doing the worm with this piece of jerky. That's at 0.72 water activity. I could leave that out for ever, until the cows come home, until whatever. It's never going to grow anything in there. So how are we doing this? What is the science behind keeping moisture in the jerky, but not letting that moisture grow bad things? And it's super simple. It's all about that 18% brown sugar we added. Forgive me if you've heard this before, because I know I've harped on it, but sugar binds with water and makes it unavailable for microbial growth. That's why a piece of chocolate, it's not going bad. It's got so much sugar in it that nothing can grow on it. Now, under certain conditions, yeah, of course, but there's always, there's a one-off to everything. In general, you will be perfectly fine with this. I've got 3 bags sitting up front that are small, just a couple of pieces, and I've got 1 bag that's pretty good. The first 4 people who email podcast@waltonsinc.com requesting a piece of that or some of that will get it. And whoever tells the funniest joke in their email will get the larger bag. If you can make me laugh, you're going to get a little bit of larger bag. So that's podcast@waltonsinc.com to get some of this awesome jerky. I've made hundreds of pounds of products here at Walton's, and I really think this might be what I'm most proud of. It's just absolutely awesome. And then for anyone who doesn't have a vacuum tumbler, there are things you can do to help somewhat recreate the effects of vacuum tumbling. The best way is to put it into a vacuum bag with the solution And every couple of hours, go back and massage that meat. Just keep massaging it, keep massaging it. You're kind of, I mean, it's under a vacuum. It's not the same, but it's under a vacuum. And you're creating some mechanical energy when you're massaging that meat. You're helping the proteins and the muscles loosen up, and you're going to let that cure penetrate a little bit quicker. If at the end of your time of holding it under a vacuum, you still have a good amount of liquid in the bag, there's really not much you can do about that without a vacuum tumbler. Vacuum tumbler is going to help that meat pick that up a little bit better, but with a vacuum sealer and with massaging it every few hours, you're going to be better off. You might also want to consider holding it longer than 12 hours. God, that's good. I would consider holding it 24, 48 hours, somewhere in that range. It's perfectly safe to do that as long as it's staying in a cooler or a fridge that entire time. Want to make sure that you're doing that, because at that point, even though it's got cure in it, it is raw meat. You don't want that sitting out for multiple days. So again, first 4 people who email podcast@waltonsinc.com, you're going to get one of these bags of jerky. Person with the funniest joke is going to get the large bag of jerky. So we've got a couple other things going on at Walton's here that we're super excited for. We have some new Camp Chef stuff coming in. The one that I'm most excited for out of that is the Winwood pellet grill. It's a pellet grill smoker combo, and we've always carried them. We have them out in the showroom, but they're not ones that we're able to sell online. We are able to sell these online. The real advantage to that is I now have a reason to do snack sticks, summer sausage, jerky, all of that, figure out how to do it from start to end on a pellet grill. So we will go back through all of our products basically and do videos on how to do them in a pellet grill. We also will have a vertical pellet smoker from Camp Chef. So we're going to do snack sticks, summer sausage, probably bacon, ham, everything in that as well. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of months because I've got tons of products to make, new things to try out. Very, very excited. So keep an eye on our Walton's YouTube channel. Keep an eye on Meatgistics, which everyone obviously has. It's insane how quickly Meatgistics is growing. Felt like to get from 8,000 to 9,000 took forever. Getting from 10,000 to 13,000 users. I mean, we added over 1,000 users in the last 28 days. So that's great. Keep telling your friends about it. It definitely is working. We've built up an awesome community there. You guys really are the best. Have a lot of fun, a lot of good opinions on meat processing. There's a lot of good talk, having nothing to do about meat processing. There's a lot of good pushing for Team Blue. So there's some Team Orange nonsense too, but I really don't care about that. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on either Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, go ahead and leave a review. Really, really does help. And if you're watching on YouTube, just share. That's about as powerful as a tool there is for growing the reach of a YouTube audience is sharing. They really do look at that and love that. So we will see you guys in just a couple more days. We'll release a new one. We're going to get this one out as quickly as possible because we know it's been a while, but I got to run. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.